Welcome, everybody. We are pumped about this show. We are very excited. It's been months in the making, something we've really wanted to get going. Welcome to the Hobby Half Hour, presented by Knup Sports. This is all trading card talk, all hobby talk, all the time. Of course, this week we have a lot to talk about, and if you follow the hobby, you know that. I'd like to welcome my co-host, DB. How you feeling today, buddy?
Doing great. I was able to find a box of hockey cards at Target today while just out making a run. So we have some cards that we're going to break on the show today. Really pumped for that. Eric, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm doing even better now that I know someone had some retail luck today. I could not rip any retail, but I'm going to rip some wax with you. I brought some wax.
There we go.
Rip some wax with you. We have a very special guest today, DB, as you know.
We do.
We have Joe Lowry coming on from Prospects Live, JHook as we know him. JHook. Joe, how you doing today, man?
How's it going, guys? I'm stoked to be on the show, and I'm glad it's Friday. How's it going with you guys?
Absolutely. It's Friday. That means, as you guys know, in the hobby, there's going to be breaks all weekend. We're all going to be sitting on Twitch till 2 a.m. tonight, getting yelled at by our wives. It's going to be a blast. Going to be ripping some cards. So I'm very ready for the weekend. And more importantly, I'm ready to really get into some discussion tonight because, folks, Fanatics came along this week and they decided to drop an absolute bomb on the hobby world. Fanatics announced a massive deal, first with the Major League and the Players Association and the Major Leagues as well, which just kind of blew everyone away because that kind of takes Topps out of the game. And then, they went on to announce that they had struck up a deal with the NBA Players Association, the NFLPA, and basically we're all sitting here waiting for the last domino in the NFL to fall before Topps and Panini could possibly completely be out of this game. DB, what do you think? What went through your mind when this news dropped on us midweek?
Yeah, it was just such a massive shock. It came out of nowhere. I got a notification on my phone that the deal had gone down, and I'm thinking, did everyone at Topps just go out of business? Like, are they closing their doors? Like that's one of the biggest things to happen in this industry, maybe ever. I mean, this is huge. We saw it through the pandemic, and Eric, you and I have talked about this before on a few of these shows. Not on this specific program on our first show, but on other shows that we've done, that collecting is at like an all-time high right now because as people have been home through the pandemic, we've been going back through all of our old cards, getting into the hobby again while we're just sitting around and waiting for something to do. Yeah. And so to have Topps and MLB, who've been partners since 1951, like, I have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that they've been basically business partners for that long. And to see that Topps is getting pushed to the side like this really just came as a massive shock. And I think even more than that, too, that Fanatics was the new partner. Fanatics, they've kind of been taken over a bit on the memorabilia side of things lately. It's been a relatively new thing that Fanatics is getting into sports cards. I have some reservations about that. Joe, I want to get your thoughts on that too, because my main sport is hockey. You see the state of hockey flag behind me. Love that. And I've had some beef with Fanatics over some hockey apparel and in particular hockey jerseys, which is my other big collection besides sports cards. So Joe, I want to ask you, when you found out that not only was it MLBPA wasn't making a deal with Topps, but that it was also Fanatics, what was your response to that?
Yeah, haven't had that much experience with Fanatics. I'll pick up a bit of memorabilia, like hats or shirts or whatever every now and then of my favorite teams. But outside of that, and it's all been whatever. I mean, I'm used to, it's par for the course to get good, bad, and in the middle quality from all of these companies that produce this type of stuff. So it wasn't like I was sitting there just saying Fanatics is the end of the world and they're horrible quality. Just I haven't had that much experience with them. I saw a lot of that. And, at the end of the day, I don't think that carries over so much into the trading cards business, because from like the Fanatics side of doing not so great quality on producing the memorabilia and whatnot, because they're standing up a new division essentially to do this, and they're not going to be using the same manufacturers that make their apparel, right? It's going to likely be the same manufacturers that make Topps and Panini cards, right? Yeah. And so I don't think that argument really holds so much water, and something we should be concerned about, because we've been getting pretty bad quality for a while now, especially as they've turned up the printing presses on these cards. So it's going to be par for the course in my opinion, and I don't think that's something, that part of it is what we should focus on.
And the other thing to consider too is that this doesn't take effect until after the 2025 season for MLB, and then for the NFL and NBA at the end of calendar 2026 before any of this takes effect. So on the positive side, to your point, is they do have a few years that they can do some testing here and really make sure that they get it right, that the launch is smooth as they take over all of that.
Exactly. Now, I saw that I believe it was the MLB, the deal with the MLBPA. I believe it starts after 2023. Is it fair to say that Panini is done printing baseball cards after 2023 then? Is that going to move straight into someone else? Or, of course, we don't, we may not exactly know right now because we don't know what's going to happen with Topps and Panini. But is that correct? The way I read it, is Fanatics clear to print non-licensed MLB cards after 2023?
I believe it's actually after 2022.
22, okay.
I believe the MLBPA license starts in 2023, and it's an exclusive license for the MLBPA, which it was not previously, right? Panini and Topps had the MLBPA license. And kind of going back to DB's point earlier, which was that this may be the biggest news in the hobby ever, and I agree for the most part, but it was only a decade ago where it was the biggest news in the hobby, where licenses went exclusive, and no one had the foresight to think maybe an outside player would come in and knock all of the major insiders down, and they kind of didn't have that foresight and set themselves up for this move here. And so I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I think Panini is out of the baseball card game, and I don't think it's that much of something that they're going to care about, right? Their bread and butter has been football, with basketball just being their growth kind of property for the last few years. So I think they're freaking out more about NBA and NFL. And so I don't think they'll care that they have to give up the MLB products.
Absolutely. And as a collector, I care because I love Panini baseball stuff. I know a lot of people don't. They hate the no logos. I get it. I wish it had logos as well.
Optic baseball is one of my favorite products every year. I just wrote an article up about all of Shohei Ohtani's rated rookie cards, just because I love the rated rookie card, and that rated rookie logo holds so much brand strength. And it, if it does go away, that'll kind of be unfortunate. Things change and life moves on, but I'll be sad to see that go.
Well, Joe, I want to ask you a question off of that, and that is, if we see some of these companies go away, do you think that the line falls more that the other cards start to lose their value because they aren't as prominent anymore? Or is there kind of a nostalgia factor that maybe that kind of increases the price in those cards?
Yeah, the market has really been focused on modern, and there's the vintage stuff really has not seen the significant jumps, with few exceptions, right? The very elite of the elite. So I don't think that's going to change. I think the elite stuff will continue just to be astronomically priced high, and the old vintage stuff that you can find for pennies, maybe a couple bucks here and there, I don't think that's changing. I don't think you're going to get an explosion of interest in picking up a 1977 Topps, whoever, right? Spike Owen card or whatever. That's just not going to happen. So I think it's going to be, for the most part, status quo with small bumps here and there. I just don't see it happening.
I think I agree with you there. I honestly thought that we may see a slight change, and maybe it was that I didn't notice even this week in the market for Modern. And it's pretty much, it seemed like business as usual to me on eBay, on Twitter, everywhere I go with cards. It was pretty much business as usual, with the addition of collectors and hobbyists complaining about Fanatics doing this. That was basically the only change that I've seen thus far. But as we were saying, Dan and I were talking about Upper Deck. Now, we're probably going to see, as you said, Fanatics, the same distributors and printers are going to be making these cards, I would imagine. Somehow it'll be Topps and Panini still producing the cards, I would imagine, whether they get bought out or they strike up deals where certain brands can be printed, like Stadium Club or people, First Bowmans, things like that, or full-on buyout or something like that. Now, with the way the market is right now, Fanatics could probably swoop in and buy Upper Deck for way cheaper than the other two companies, and they could just print everything under the Upper Deck name. I was just something I thought about that kind of popped into my head through the week. Wouldn't it be insane if we saw Leaf or Upper Deck somehow get these deals with Fanatics, and suddenly Leaf and Upper Deck explode back onto the scene? So that kind of. Go ahead, Jay.
I know everyone in the hobby has their favorites and has their brands, and they want them to live on, right? And I do too. And that's not a businessman's perspective, right? So look, the Fanatics just started up a sports book, right? Yep. And they did not go out and buy FanDuel or DraftKings or some smaller player to basically give them the infrastructure and give them the kind of business and sales and marketing and all of that. They're building that up from scratch. And that's kind of the point. I think they're going to use the same template for the trading card division. And they'll make some key hires, but they'll just partner with the behind the scenes infrastructure, right? Yep. Topps and Panini use a third party printer. They're just going to do a deal with that third party printer. They'll take the best and brightest that runs the operations of Topps and Panini and pull them out and get them, offer them a ton more money and bring them over to Fanatics. And they got the head of StockX, the co-creator of StockX, running the new Fanatics trading card division. And I don't think, someone like that is going to sit there and wants to run through a merger and acquisition activity and have all of that old guard mentality trying to put up barriers and obstacles and challenges about, you can't do it like this. This is how it's got to be run. He's got an idea of what he likes and how things are going to be. And I've been through numerous mergers and acquisitions in my corporate life. And the people that come in rarely want to let the lesser players in that deal dictate how things are going to be in the future. They rotate those old guard out. And I just don't see the need to acquire those companies. I can see the interest in acquiring the IP in the brands if it's pennies on the dollar. And that's where it's probably going to get to. And awesome. I'm here for it. Keep those brands alive for me. I mean, look, Topps bought Bowman in 1956, right? Yeah. And we didn't see a Bowman card until 1989, right? It could easily go that route too, right? So I just don't see the need for them to buy those companies and just kind of repeat the mistakes of the past, right? And do things the same old way and have the middleman distributor model when that's not Fanatics' way of doing business, right? They're direct sales to their consumers. I know everyone. I see it still every day. including today when I look, people just caught up in they are going to lose 10% of their hobby collector base if they don't, bring the Topps brand over for MLB, because where all the set collectors are going to go away and everyone collects heritage. And in my experience, that's like 1% to 2% of hobby people that I interact with are die-hard set collectors. And that's not going to impact their bottom line. They got a new trading card division, a really interesting guy that's going to be running it, a new business model. I hate to break it to the hobby, but you're not going to have Topps flagship, Topps Chrome, Panini Select. All those things are probably going away, and prepare yourself for it and be happy if we get to keep it.
And there's going to be new sets too.
Yeah, the new sets I'm excited about. I'm struggling, and you mentioned one of them. I will struggle if we lose rated rookies and first Bowmans. Those are very important cards to me. I'm not a set collector, but I often do chase both of those things for almost all rookies, even if they're terrible. I love rated rookies. I love first Bowmans. It'll hurt my heart to lose them, especially first Bowmans. But I am excited to see what Fanatics can do here. And to Dan's point earlier, I sure hope that their customer service in this area is much better than, and I think it will be. I think they should be feeling the pressure of the entire hobby world on them right now. And I'm sure they are. Mm-hmm. So I think that'll influence them some, like, well, we have to get this right. We have to get this right. As you just said, you don't want to lose more than 1% to 2% of hobbyists. You don't want to lose any more than just those set collectors. You want to, and you want to get those back eventually. So I really hope that their customer service comes through. I don't think it's the end of the hobby world like some people think. I love collecting cards, as you guys do. I will never stop collecting cards regardless of who's making them. I mean, I'll go to Walmart, and if they have a blaster box of Elite Extra Edition, I'll buy it. Those are terrible brand cards, but I'll buy it because I love cards, and I love opening them, and I love autographs, and I love numbered cards, and I just love it. So, yeah,
going to your point earlier, right? You guys found, DB found retail, right?
Today,
and he's excited.
I found retail
to open it, right, and pop it open, and to a certain degree, it's going after your guys, but a certain degree, it's that that high you get off of the gamble and the exciting. What are you going to see? That doesn't go away, with it being a completely different company, especially if Fanatics is able to those cards hold value. And I mean, StockX was heavily invested into, we're only going to allow PSA cards and sealed wax, right? Yep. PSA cards, I mean, just throwing this out there, and I doubt it's going to be something right away, but they can take the Leaf model of Valiant, where they put a pre-graded card in a box. I bet you that CEO, the co-creator of StockX, is thinking that same thing. Why don't I put a pre-graded PSA card in one of these products? You know how big that would be? You know how much people would be going for that? Just given how challenging it is to get PSA stuff, And
exactly.
And this guy's probably got all the, I mean, look, Nat Turner, right? Basically the owner of PSA tweeted about this, about just in general. You're right about how Panini kind of screwed up with the NBA license. It's just gotten more and more terrible over the years, and he's excited to see what Fanatics can do with it. So he's game. So I mean, there's a lot to be excited about if you can take a step back.
Exactly. I believe it was also him that tweeted, I hope Fanatics does away with redemptions. I mean, that'll never happen because there's a necessity for it. There's a reason we have redemptions. But the cool part about the tweet was that, and I can't remember his name, the guy that's heading up Fanatics' new card line responded to the tweet with just kind of a funny joke about redemptions. And I enjoy that he's out there doing that. Kind of reminds me of, and this guy's kind of conceited, but Brian from Leaf. He's he's very full of himself, but I enjoy him on Twitter because he's open and upfront, and he communicates with the people that buy these cards, and hey, this redemption's not getting done because these guys aren't signing. Or I really enjoy the openness and the communication, and I hope Fanatics brings that, because I think Topps has really sorely lacked communication for a very long time. As anybody who's ever had a mistake or something happened to one of their boxes unopened, or a redemption or anything, anybody who's dealt with Topps with anything like that knows that they are poor communicators. So I really hope Fanatics takes that to the next level. Communicate with the people that are making you $1 bajillion a year. I mean, us hobbyists, we're pretty crazy people. We'll go spend $300 on retail cardboard and, walk out with a cart full, or we'll spend more than that on one box. And as I was talking about earlier, sometimes we'll spend, $1,000 for a box that has one card in it. So you would think that these guys would really take communication into, to the next level. But we're going to move on. We'll move on from Topps Panini. We could talk about this all day, I know, because it's just an insane shock. But I have a question for you guys. This is our brand new segment. Of course, it's a brand new show, but this is going to be a weekly segment here on the show. Here we got buy, sell, or hold.
Ooh, I like this.
Every week we're going to do this buy, sell, or hold. I'm going to throw a player out. This one I kind of have an opinion on what I would do, and I want to hear what you guys would do. So this week's buy, sell, or hold, we got Wander Franco. DB, you buying, you selling, you holding Wander Franco right now. What are you doing? It's tough.
That is tough. That is really tough. And I wish I had done a little more prep work. I'm glad
like
you
to
threw
catch
this
you
at
off
me.
guard.
You do. You do a great job of getting raw, real-time reactions like that. Man,
I'll say this: he's got like a 28 game on base streak going right now.
I think for now, hold. I think is the angle I'm going to take. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm stuck on hold for now, but it's. You could literally go any of those three ways, I think.
Yeah, you really could.
And none of them would be a wrong,
To me, there is one of these choices that, I don't know if it's a wrong answer, but it's just one of these things I wouldn't do. But the other two are fair game, and holding is one of the two that are fair game. So I like that. I like the holding. Joe, what do you think? What are you buying, you selling, you holding here?
So this was something I discussed with my co-host of the local card pod on the Prospects Live podcast feed, Rye Sox 5, Mr. Ryan Regal, months ago.
It's a good man.
Yes, he's a great guy. And we it came up before Wander debuted. So I haven't revisited his card prices, so I don't know where they're at now. But back then, before he debuted, I said, I'm selling, right? Because the prices that his Bowman cards were bringing, especially his first Bowmans, were astronomical.
Ridiculous.
They were elite territory. They were, you had to have a top 5, top 10 type of trajectory and career. And while I agree that he could get there, I think it's pretty difficult from the perspective of, I don't think he's going to hit more than 20-ish home runs in a season. And that's kind of always been the concern about Wander, especially over the last year and a half, is that he hits the ball in the ground too much. His launch angle was a challenge. In the minor league season, that seemed to have gone away a bit. And the dude puts the ball on the bat on the ball, excuse me, so often and so well that he's going to fall into 20 home runs. But I don't think he's going to get to that 35, 40 home run mark. That was the thing with Soto that shot him up crazy after the 2020 season, is the pace he put on in 60 whatever games was, 40 home run territory, and he hadn't been there previously. And while everyone was kind of in on Soto, his cards went insane, right? And so I just don't, Wander may end up being another Juan Soto. Wander may end up being Michael Brantley, a guy who hits 320, good OBP, and 20 home runs a year. And what does Michael Brantley cards go for? I mean, ask yourself that, right? And so
crazy how that works.
I don't think he's going to be the floor of Michael Brantley, but I don't think he's going to be the ceiling of Juan Soto. So to me, that's a sell.
Ooh, JHook. That was the one that was wrong.
Oh,
It really, like, as
okay,
Dan said, there are no wrong answers here on this one. Whenever he, or right before he got called up this year, I'm definitely selling those first Bowmans. As you said, the prices were astronomical. I saw a PSA 10 first Bowman numbered to 5. I think it was the red sapphire.
Yep.
It was either over 200,000 or over 400,000. It was an insane price. Golden Auctions did it, and that one just blew me away. So oftentimes with first Bowmans, though, they're a little different than a lot of other cards. First Bowmans, top draft picks, mostly I'm selling those because, you know, Austin Martin numbered to 5 going for $15,000 right now. The second he sets foot on a Major League Baseball field, that price is going to drop about 1,000%. So I'm with you on the first Bowmans. I typically sell those quick unless it's somebody that I collect or I want. But right now with this, the way he's been hitting the last month, he's kind of went off this last month. He's, like I said, he's got like a 28 game on base streak going, and his prices have dropped since his call up. So I'm buying. I'm going to take we all have different answers, which I like. I would buy right now. I would buy and I would wait and sell. So I would buy right now. Right now is the time. If you're a Wonder guy, if you're looking to maybe turn a profit on Wonder, right now is not a bad time to buy because his prices still seem a bit low. But as Joe just said, you know, if he doesn't hit 30 home runs and have an 850, 900 OPS, how much are those going to go up? You know, so it could be a testy market. Right now I'm buying. I would buy raw and try to grade and sell if I were a gambling man, which I am. So
you brought up a really interesting point there with the valuation, that when he steps onto the field, that the value is going to drop. Yeah. And we see that reflected in players' trade value all the time too. It's a perfect mirror, because MLB in particular, I think more than any other sport, is so protective of prospects and what a prospect can be. And part of that is with the NBA and the D League, it's not nearly as developed as what minor league baseball has been. Right. The NFL, where you don't really have an established minor league, it's you're in or you're on the practice squad, but practice squad guys aren't, you know, going to be future superstars. That's unbelievably rare for something like that to happen. But MLB and NHL in particular, they value their prospects, and baseball even more so than hockey. So to see that a card would kind of match that value is so interwoven within the sport. It's a perfect mirror of the game itself, which is what you want card collecting to be, is a mirror of the game itself.
Exactly. I agree with everything you just said, and both of you guys made some very great points there. I was all about buying, and then I listened to both of you guys, and by the time it got to me, I was super unconfident about shouting, "Buy, you guys are wrong." So that was a lot of fun. All right, let's move on to another great segment we're going to do every week. Me and DB, we're gonna bring you our cards of the week every week. This is something that Joe does actually on Prospects Live that I've seen him do. It kind of stole the idea from him. It's something we've always wanted to do here at Knup Sports. So it doesn't have to be a valuable card. The card I'm going to show you guys today, not worth right now, maybe not worth hardly anything. Sometimes they will be super valuable. Just some of our favorite products, some of our favorite cards of the week. I'm going to kick us off this week. DB is going to get us started next week. Little Rick's card of the week this week. A little drum roll. Brought to you by a card company that we have not discussed yet today on this show, which is Onyx. Kind of one of my favorite smaller brands. I think they make some great products, especially in baseball. Love their baseball products. Was in a break a few months back with a breaker you guys are familiar with over at the Sin Bin Breaks. Diego, great breaker. The Sin Bin Breaks is a fantastic group for any of you looking for a new break group. Go out there and join us. We have a lot of fun in there. But Diego pulled me my first redemption out of Onyx Nimbus. I forgot to send it off for a long time. Sent it off 3.5, 4 weeks ago. Last week it was here. From what I've heard, I've like I said, my first redemption, that is very fast. So my card of the week, Onyx Nimbus, black border, Wildered Patino, very nice. Got the black border, was very pumped to get the black border back. The black border's numbered to 95. I really love the look of these cards. They're just clean. Of course, you don't see a logo on there. It's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I like the way it looks. I love the Onyx look. I love the Nimbus. Great card. Really dig the black border. Wildered Patino. Please hit 50 home runs in the minor leagues next year so I can sell this, please. So that's my card of the week this week. And I have a runner-up. I have a runner-up because I couldn't decide. This is another Sin Bin Breaks pull. This is the new museum collection, this season's museum collection. I just love the patch. Number to 35, Rafi Devers, who's just having a phenomenal year. I'm not going to lie. I'm just a sucker for tricolor patches. You give me 3 colors on a patch, and I don't care the player. I'm going to dig it. I like patches. I know they're kind of out of style these days. We want autographs. We want low numbers. But I still dig the patches. I think it's a really cool card. Museum Collection does a great job with these every year. So those are my cards of the day. DB, what do you got for us this week?
Well, before we get any further, I just want to say, Diego, if you're watching, we love you, buddy. We're thinking of you, and we hope you feel better soon.
Absolutely. Prayers up for
Diego's going through some stuff. So, Diego, we love you, and we're thinking of you. My card, I figured we had to go big for the first show, right? And I meant that quite literally. So we are going with the oversized Jason Robertson Young Guns card. Robertson finishing second in the Calder Trophy voting this year for Rookie of the Year. Kirill Kaprizov had 99 of 100 first place votes. Rightfully so, but Robertson had the 1 out of 100 for the rest of that. And just for comparison, I mean, I'm holding up a pack, which we're going to break in a moment. And you can see how much bigger the card is than the pack itself. So
it's the size of your head.
It pretty much is.
It's the size of your head, dude.
It's huge. And I have a big head. Like, that doesn't quite show through on camera very well, but I have a big melon. So Jason Robertson Young Guns rookie card, which was also one that I got through Sin Bin Breaks as well.
I have to say that Upper Deck Series 2 this year was just absolutely loaded.
It was so crazy.
Absolutely. Series 1 made me want to take a nap this year. Series 2 just killed it. Upper Deck killed it. Of course, Upper Deck and their Young Guns every year. I love what they do with their Young Guns. It reminds me a lot of what Bowman does with First Bowmans and what Donruss and Optic do with Rated Rookies. So I did.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I was going to say, I want to get this out there real quick. I think this upcoming rookie class in the NHL this year is going to be the best rookie class of all time. I think the Young Gun cards we're going to see through the roof, because we already saw last year how the upward trajectory was there. The rookie class this year in the NHL, in years past, you've been able to kind of guess who the Calder winner is going to be before the season starts. You see McDavid, you know he's going to get it. You see Matthews, you know he's going to get it. Kaprizov last year was all over that one. This year, there are as many as 20 guys who could compete for the Calder next year that I would not be surprised if any of them win it. And part of that is the pandemic shortened season last year. Some of the guys didn't meet the games played requirement. So the players that are going to be eligible as rookies this year, Cole Caulfield, who we saw tearing it up with Montreal during the playoffs, he's going to be in. Spencer Knight, Alex Newhook. There are so many guys that could be in this year that I just want to throw this out there now. If you are getting into card collecting, jump on the rookie set for next year for the NHL, and you're golden, because there are going to be so many good rookies next year.
So I will not want to be taking a nap for Series 1 next year. Copy
Not
that.
at all. Nope.
I will be buying one touches and one touching mini Young Guns. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. We got a couple of more short segments for you guys here. Retail pull of the week. I pulled this week by complete accident. Stopped by a CVS, saw a pack of cards, grabbed it. I thought I was buying 2021 Chronicles draft picks, just for fun. Thought I was going to get some nice QB rookies in there. Get home, open the pack. The top card is a Jordan Love rookie card. And I realized that I had bought a cello of 2020 Chronicles non-draft picks, which is even better. I was pumped. And the second card in that, a nice little retail pool, nothing major, little $15 card or whatever here. Little Panini Prism Black action, Chase Claypool rookie. I know a lot of people don't care for the Prism Black. I'm a fan.
It looks sharp with the Steelers, too.
Yeah, it really does. The black just goes nice with Pittsburgh. Just a nice little retail pool, just a little Chase Claypool rookie. And then the last thing before we rip, which I am excited about. Last thing before we rip this week is kind of dated, but we're going to do a new release of the week that's a couple weeks old just because we weren't on the air yet. It's one of my favorite releases of the year, and that is Allen and Ginter. I love Allen and Ginter. It's the dumbest, funnest, weirdest set of baseball cards that there is out there. I love it. Pulling cards with sharks and trees and eggs and football players and baseball players, and in my opinion, just a very fun product here. You can get yourself a blaster for $20, and in my opinion, if you don't get your $20 back out of this, you're going to have a lot of fun ripping this. This is something you're going to want to rip. And oddly this year I've seen a lot of autos come out of blasters. Some really nice autos, as well as some Brian Hayes. A friend of mine pulled an awesome Randall Cunningham over at my house the other day. Nice football auto out of there. And shout out to my Miami Dolphins. I wish it had a rookie card logo on it, but it doesn't because it's a football card out of Ginter. But little Jalen Waddell action, my favorite card I pulled out of it. Huge Dolphins fan. Love this guy. Love Allen and Ginter. So go ahead and get you some Allen and Ginter. You won't regret it. Fun product.
Yeah. Let me jump in real quick on Ginter. Yeah. Kind of circling back around to the original topic. If Topps is not acquired by Fanatics and Topps does not sell its IP or sell only pieces of its IP, I think they can turn Allen and Ginter into Upper Deck's version of Goodwin Champions, right? I think that would be really fun, right? And Topps has what's called the longest contract ever signed with a player with Trout. They signed Mike Trout to a personal deal. They've signed Ohtani. I don't know how long that deal is, but if and when they lose the licenses and they're not able to produce the cards, they can still sign these guys like Leaf and Onyx does and put their autos and their cards in an Allen and Ginter set. And I think that would actually be kind of fun. I think it would actually drive a lot of interest, and maybe it's not a huge moneymaker for Topps, but I still think it would keep them in the game to a certain extent. And to your point, it's a fun product. It's something for the kids too. You get a lot of fun stuff there for your kids. It's just a great family rip.
It really is.
Yeah, that's why we do this, is to have fun.
Yeah. People forget that. People always want it to be about the dollars, but sometimes I just want to open a pack of cards. Sometimes it's just fun to see the cards inside. I mean, I'm going to open a pack in a minute that is probably going to have little to no value, and I'm going to be like a 9-year-old opening it because I love it. So that being said, let's rip, folks. It's time to rip. Today we've got a couple special things for you. DB found some retail today. It was going to be kind of a boring rip, but DB found a little retail. So DB's going to rip us a little Upper Deck Series 2.
I had a tough time waiting too, because I had a blaster box, the seven packs, 8 cards each. Didn't have too many hits, but did pull a Josh Norris
nice
rookie card, Ottawa Senators. So that's kind of that's my retail pull of the week. All right, so here we got first one out of the box. Henry Jokiharju, Buffalo Sabres. Alex Nylander, who was traded for Jokiharju. That was a
interesting
swap. So kind of get those back to back. There we go. Mike Hoffman, there you go. Rick, that one's for you.
My guy. My Hoff.
Got Rupe Hintz canvas. We're gonna turn that one sideways here.
I love those UD canvases, man. They look nice every year. Always
really do. They do a good job with those. David Kampf, Chicago Blackhawks, another Blackhawk in the pack here. Jesperi Kotkaniemi had another solid year for Montreal. James Van Riemsdyk, and last but not least, we've got Rasmus Anderson.
Nice little rip.
Little nice rip. Nothing
Rip.
too high dollar amount in there, but some fun cards, some good cards, good players, and Hintz. And I should have mentioned this with Hintz too. Is he's wearing the Stadium Series jersey there too? That's
that's kind of the highlight of that card. I love those. It really is. Every year, fun. I think they do great with those. They look just a little different every year. Like them every year.
Well, and your Blues and my Wild this year for the Winter Classic, we're gonna have some fun jerseys on the way.
I've got to make it to that, man. We've got to go to that game. We've got to go to the game. For me today, gonna rip a little wax. Didn't have any luck in retail, but I've always got some 88 Donruss sitting on the shelf just for a rainy day, just whenever I get bored and just kind of want to see what's in there, a little 88 action. I love in these, you still get the puzzle pieces of one of my favorite players of all time, Stan Musial puzzle pieces in these. I probably have them all, but I don't think I've ever actually looked through. So let's see what kind of crazy rookies we can hit out at 88. There was a few good ones in 88. I don't know if you guys know that. There were some nice rookies that year. Let's see what we got here. Starting us off with, of course, the puzzle piece. We got the Stan puzzle piece. One of these days, I'm gonna make it a point to put these together just for this show.
I did the 89 Donruss, which was Yastrzemski. I did that with my daughter a couple months ago. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun.
They're a lot of fun. Upper Deck does a lot of the puzzle stuff in modern hockey now, which I love. I love doing their little puzzles too. We've got a little Terry McGriff from the Reds. We've got Wally Ritchie, Phillies. Rocky Childress, man, I haven't said some of these names in so long.
That's a blast from the past.
This is this is actually one of my favorite players of all time, and my stepdad, his name is actually John, and everyone calls him Tudor. Little John Tudor in the red uniform. I love it. Daryl Miller, Angels. Dave LaPointe, Sox. Mike Lloyd. There's a classic name that I've never heard of. All right. The heck is
that's
that?
a little bit risque sounding there a little bit.
No, it did sound right in the midst of this pack, folks. Got one of my favorite kinds of card of all time. Centering's a little off, but it's just Gary Thurman. Little rated rookie action. Gary Thurman, rated rookie. Like I said, I will miss these if they go. I love the rated rookies. We've got Dennis Martinez, Expos, classic. Jose Rio. Jerry Don Gleaton. Anybody? Jerry Don Gleaton?
No, but that is an 80s baseball name if I have ever heard one.
Fact. Mike Devereaux, Dodgers. Okay, now we're getting to people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one of my favorite players of all time, Jay Buhner in a Yankees uniform.
There you go.
He just looks odd in a Yankees hat to me, just because I was so young when he was a Yankee. So it's great name. Spike Owen, Red Sox. And we close it out with rock star Jim Morrison, Detroit Tigers, baby. Nice little wax. I love it. Well, all right, guys. I think that was a pretty darn good first show. Of course,
I'd say so.
The hobby kind of gave us, maybe like the biggest news of all time for our first episode. So we kind of lucked out there, but I had a lot of fun with you guys. DB, I know you'll be back next week. Joe, you got to come back and join us again, man. This was a lot of fun. Anytime any news happens or you just want to come on and rip with us or show us some cards, man, you just hit us up. You're welcome anytime. We're here every Friday. We're here at 6 Eastern time, 5 Central. We will miss you while you're gone. I hope you all rip some fire this weekend. Go get in a million breaks. Go get
Joe, before we go, Joe, where can people find your stuff?
For sure. Thanks, DB. You can find all my work at Prospects Live. You can find my Twitter at JHook, JH00K. We are on a summer break, but you should see the return of the Local Card Pod with myself and my co-host Ryan Regal at RySox5, and that will be part of the Prospects Live podcast feed. Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
We appreciate it. That was a lot of fun. Can't wait for the pod to start back up. One of my favorites. You guys have a good week, and like I said, I hope you all rip fire this weekend. We will see you next week at 6 Eastern time for the Hobby Half Hour. I'm Little Rick. That's DB. That's Joe. We'll see you next week.